Hello everyone, Nerdy Steve here, and today I'll be featuring a mid-range Jund deck in Standard. The list is in the description below. I'm going to talk a little bit about the plan of the deck, and then we'll play a couple of games. So, let's go. So, what we mean by this mid-range deck, right? We have a lot of early game creatures, like Bloodtithe Harvester and Tenacious Underdog, and Briarbridge Tracker, that can put a lot of pressure very, very early, and very, very quickly. And also we have Sheoldred that can come out on turn 4, which, makes every draw step your opponent has a, a shock to them, right? But we also have a lot of cards that, generate card advantage over time, like Fable of the Mirror Breaker, Reckoner Bankbuster, and then we also have really, really powerful removal, but they cost a lot. And Unleash the Inferno and Invoke Despair are both ways for us to deal with multiple permanents at the same time and generate card advantage while doing so. And so that's kind of what our deck is planning on doing. We want to, put some type of threats early on in the first couple of turns. So we want a Bloodtithe Harvester on turn 2 so we can start attacking and putting pressure on our opponents, creatures, and their life total. And then, with Briarbridge, Tracker, and Sheoldred, more pressure and more, stuff that your opponent has to deal with. And then when you get to like turn 5 or 6, you have some really, really good removal to, deal more damage to clear off more of your opponent's things, and then, kill your opponent. As opposed to a lot of other Jund lists you might see, there's the Jund Reanimator deck that's been going around with Cruelty of Gix. This deck is not relying on that type of synergy. This is just kind of individually powerful cards that hopefully when they interact with each other, they will overwhelm your opponent and you win that way. So, with that being said, let's go see if we can do that. This is a hand we could keep. We had a turn 2 Bankbuster and turn 3 Fable, which would be, not the most aggressive thing, but drawing the Bloodtithe Harvester as our first draw step means we're going to start applying that pressure early to our opponent. But even without the Harvester, having Fable and Reckoner going is going to allow us to do a lot of really cool things. Now, our opponent could be a lot of different decks right now, and we don't really know. Ambitious Farmhand kind of slots into a lot of different things, so probably a more mid-range build. Yeah, and Bankbuster kind of, cements that for us. Let's attack for 3, and then we're gonna want Fable of the Mirror Breaker out, so we can, start mirror breaking stuff. Now, what is our opponent doing? Because again, we still don't know if they're on Sarah Paragon, a Reanimator type thing, just general white good stuff. It's not really going to change our plan and what we do, but discard 2 cards. I want to discard a Sulfurous Springs and a Bloodtithe Harvester. I don't think we need another one. But maybe we did. Our opponent is double blocking the Harvester, so maybe we shouldn't have. Interesting. We're going to go for Sheoldred here, and let our opponent be very upset with that choice. Our opponent drew in response to Sheoldred, because otherwise they would lose 2 life if they drew after entered the battlefield. Depopulate, okay. Figured we were going to get something like that. And also another thing I didn't really talk about is that Kiki Jiki combos very well with a lot of the creatures in our deck. Like, it's not only just good with Bloodtithe Harvester, it's also really good with Briarbridge Tracker, right? And unlike the other, comboing it with Titan of Industry, which costs, you know, a lot of mana, right? All of the creatures we're copying with Kiki-Jiki are cheap. But that Archangel Wrath is going to do a little bit of work here. Let's attack for 4. And I think I want to do this. I kind of wish we had another land. So now what are we looking for? Oh, Elspeth Resplendent's going to be really, really good.
I'm not looking for trouble, but I'll fight if I have to. This is your fight.
So this is going to have probably Vigilance. Yeah. And now we don't really... Killing this Elspeth is going to be a chore. We can do it. I would like some good removal, though. Alright, Infernal Grasp, please. Alright, our opponent's crewing in response. We're taking a lot of damage from our Karplusan Forest. But we're playing the Briarbridge Tracker, so we can crew here. And we're going to send everything at Elspeth. We could attack our opponent here, which might be what I'd want to do. But no, I think we need to really, really kill the Elspeth, not just pressure our opponent's life total. A Farewell would be a disaster. Wandering Emperor? Okay, a little less of a disaster.
I hope you're ready to lose. This is what you get for
Intrepid Adversary? Okay. Let's draw one card. I think we need to send both at the Wandering Emperor. Because I don't want to Infernal Grasp. Yeah, I think I want to save it. For I don't know what, but something. A wedding announcement? Okay. And a Giada. It looks like our opponent was on, like, Mono White Angels. Or, I mean, I guess it's not really Mono White if it's multiple colors. My bad. I should have held priority during my main phase, because I really would have loved to have gotten the clue in response. Oh, Invoke is going to be really, really nice. So now... Our opponent could have... Sanctuary Warden would be a little annoying for us. Sarah Paragon could get something. Our opponent's just Giadaing to get a bigger Giada. Okay, and an Elspeth Resplendent.
If a fight's coming, I'll be on the front lines.
Doing that, but we get to Infernal Grasp it. And so I think... It's obviously not game, but it is. GG. Huh. This is not a great hand. But we'll keep. And the reason why it's not particularly great, right, is we have nothing to do on turn 2. And on turn 3, we're going to Fable. But Fable will be our first turn of the play unless we get an untapped land. Now, I'm not going to mulligan because I think this is fine. But who knows? would love to draw an untapped land here. Onical? Okay. And it did not work out that way. It's not the end of the world, but this is one of the things where it's very, very important to realize that while we had like a decent hand with a combination of spells and lands, us not being able to use our Bloodtithe Harvester until turn 3 is kind of the equivalent of like mulliganing to 5, because we might not ever cast like half the cards in our hand now, right? And that's gonna suck. So even the games we might not lose, but even the games that you do lose, it's important to realize why. And that was like a very, very questionable keep if we look at how the game is going to progress over the next several turns. Tezzeret? Uh-oh.
My next breakthrough is close.
Well, no idea what our opponent's deck is, but it's not looking too great for us. Alright. So I think I want to discard 1 and 1. Alright, I think I'll Fable here in Ziatora's Proving Ground. This way we know we can Invoke Despair next turn, and that's going to get rid of a creature, probably a construct, Tezzeret, and this Fable. And that might allow us to, you know, breathe a little bit. Will we, though? I don't know. We're very far behind. But stranger things have happened. Dragon Spark Reactor, okay. Another Fable. Oh, so that's unfortunate because now our opponent's going to keep this Fable. You get an emblem with whenever an artifact you control becomes tapped, draw a card. We do not want that happening. Alright, we will invoke here. Discard Reflection of Kiki Jiki. Please, dang. Oh! Our opponent did! Oh, okay. Maybe our opponent didn't like the cards in hand? Patchwork, oh, Patchwork Automaton? Okay. Still not a very, very good hand for us, right? Reckoner Bankbuster, ouch. I think we're definitely dead here. Briarbridge Tracker, okay. There, and Bloodtithe Harvester. Like, I wouldn't call this stabilized, but maybe our opponent kind of just doesn't attack with everything and is a little afraid. That could work out in our favor. We did not want to see another Onicle Anvil. Though, that was very bad. Our opponent could be afraid to attack, and that might be our only out here. That's a lot of treasures, everyone. Yeah. I wish we could gain some life. If only we had a Sheoldred out on the battlefield. Hmm. So, this is... I guess it's not necessarily the trickiest. If we invoke here, we get rid of the reflection and another creature. And maybe we can draw a land, which can then allow us to copy the tracker. No. Or copy the harvester. But that didn't happen. Maybe that was wrong? Hmm. It's just very, very hard because our opponent does have the anvils out, and we're probably going to lose to that. And again, I want to stress, this is this is a time where a lot of people, might say, oh, wow, we're getting very, very unlucky and stuff. But I want to make it very clear, we did keep that opening hand that didn't have a turn 2 play, and that literally has led everything to this, right? Like, this was all foretold. Experimental synthesizer, yep. Oh, another Infernal Grasp. I think that has to be GG. Okay. Unfortunate because this game is pretty close. All things considering. But we really needed an Unleash the Inferno instead of maybe an Invoke Despair.
Many consider my tactics cruel. I get results. Keep working.
Okay. We got another turn, everyone. I don't think it's gonna matter much. And you know what? It isn't. GG. GG. Okay. This is good because we actually get to do something on turn 2, which is Tenacious Underdog. So we actually get to start applying a little pressure. and use up our mana, which is probably more important. Though our opponent is on one of the blue-based tempo decks, and that can be a little scary for us. Mainly because, again, right now we have a much more control and slower hand. Our opponent put it on top. That's not good. So we're not going to be able to apply a lot of pressure here. Oh, looks like they're the Is It version, though. And I don't know if that is better or worse for us. What we can do is crew. And then attack for 4. Then we get to say go. If our opponent does Thirst... Oh, our opponent Lightning Strikes. I think I need to try. Our opponent could have Shore Up, though. Yep. Which is not good for us. Alright, we have this. Let's go for Invoke and see what our opponent has. Invoke gets around Shore Up. Flip out the back. Got it. Now, we're on a very quick clock. And what's also very unfortunate here, right, is we are kind of stuck on mana. Ooh, Tolarian Terror? I would have loved to invoke there, but we couldn't afford to. Because then we die, basically, right? I mean, maybe we don't. Ledger Shredder? Okay. Opponent Fading Hopes. And puts a card on top. I think we double block here. Let's blood away this Bankbuster. Huh. What do we think our opponent has? Let's do this. Our opponent does get to connive. Hopefully doesn't discard a non-land. Alright. So our opponent... Dang. So we just say go and hope nothing... Hope our opponent doesn't have a lethal... Like a lightning strike or something to kill us. I don't like any of this. GG. Close. Well, everyone, thank you for watching me play some Jund midrange in Standard. Even though we didn't win a lot of these games, I really, really, really liked the deck. I think it just played very well, and obviously I learned what hands to keep and what hands I shouldn't keep, and I think that's very, very important with this type of deck, right? Sometimes you play a deck and you don't mulligan as aggressively for hands that you should have, and not in those hands where I didn't have anything to do on turn 2, just, kind of set up me and the deck to fail, and that's my fault, not the deck's fault, and that's something to note, going forward and playing this. But I do think, the deck is pretty well suited. I think it's very, very powerful, and it does a lot of cool things, and I like the Unleash the Inferno and Invoke Despair in this specific shell, because we're kind of a more aggressive deck. The 2-for-1s on the Unleash the Inferno and Invoke Despair, kind of, you can set them up to be much more impactful than, when you're not applying pressure in the first couple turns of the game. And so I think this deck definitely has legs, and I would be playing this in the future. And I recommend it. So play it. With all that being said, if you haven't already, you should totally like, comment, subscribe. That's a great way to help support me and this channel. You could also watch me stream live at twitch.tv/thenerdysteve, and I do coaching on Medify. All those links are down below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and also I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. Thanks for watching. Bye.